All right, so first, of course, we're going to open our PHP tags. And what we're going to do here is build a simple login screen, right? So I'm just going to, well, I'm not going to open PHP tags. I'm going to make a little HTML document. And then I'm going to post to login.php. Well, if I say I'm going to post, then I have to set my method to post. Okay, let's just see what that looks like so far. Not a lot to it. Is that even up there? No. All right, just nothing in it. So I need a couple inputs. Input name equals, say, login. Password. Does that work? Okay, so we got our couple inputs. Going to make a button. And there we've got a login form. Okay, and that's going to submit to where? It's going to submit to the login.php using the post HTTP method. Okay, so I need to make a login.php. All right, now on your most recent lab, they talked about the pass-through page. This is going to be a PHP pass-through page, so if you haven't done that lab yet, this will be helpful for that. So this post is going to come in here. I've got two inputs. One is named login and one is named password. I'm going to make this type password just for type text. Okay, and because of the way that PHP works, and you're just going to have to take my word for this, post is going to operate based on the names that we give, so login and password, because those are the two names of the inputs that we have here. There and there. So I'm going to set those equal to a local variable. Okay, and here's where we can do what was given in the slide as an example, which is if login equals Ron and pass equals PHP, then we can do whatever we like. In this case, we're going to set the session username equal to login, which in this case, again, we know is Ron, but we're going to use the variable anyway because that's best practice. Yes?
Is post also an array?
Post is also an array. All of the PHP server variables are arrays. Okay, so right now I do not have the session start up at the beginning of my page, so that would make me very sad. I've added that. You see my code highlighter makes it yellow because it knows it's very important. Okay, so now I've got this page, right? And it's just going to stop there. We can, that's good. Let's just stop there for now and let's echo out session username. Sounds good? Does anybody have any questions about what we're looking at here? Yeah.
Where is session defined?
Session is defined by PHP.
Okay, you don't have to set it or anything.
No, this is just, this variable that's highlighted right now is just always available to you because of PHP.
Okay.
I am assigning the username right here. So I'm sort of using it for the first time to set the username so that I can use it in the future. And then I'll use it right here, but we'll go into more depth onto how to use it in a second. Okay, so let's see that at work. Well, okay, I got to give an else statement just to put me somewhere useful. So let's do that. Header, location, and that's just going to kick me back to index, right? Header, you may recall, sets a header. Maybe it's not totally clear what header is doing, but it's actually setting an HTTP header, right? So this location header is going to tell the browser what to do. When it reaches that piece of information prior to reaching any actual HTML, it will do that action. In this case, the location causes the browser to go to another place. Header location slash is going to go to the root of this application, which is going to be my index.php on the right-hand side of the screen. So I can demonstrate that by, well, putting in anything, clicking submit, and then you can see it put me back here. Maybe that wasn't totally clear, but my login and password went away. And now maybe this will be more explicit. I can do run and PHP is what I typed in there. And that sent me to the login page, right, where it says run. So in both cases, it submitted to the same place. But in one case, it caught this location header because it was a failed login. And in the other case, it did these things. Now, this is not what we want to do with login.php. We want to send our user off to the page that they were looking for, either the first page of the app or, in more fancy situations, the page that they were requesting. So I'm going to take out this echo, and I'm actually going to put a header in this as well, and I'll say, let's say page1.php. And then I'll need to make that page, obviously. So page1.php, where I can open up my PHP, and we can start to experiment with this session in a broader sense. So first, so I've got several things. I'm going to close this farthest right one. So if you'll recall, just where we're at is that we've got the HTML that I just closed. It is going to post to the login page, which I'm highlighting now. It's on the right side of my screen. And then that, assuming they have a proper login, is going to send them on to page 1, which is here on the left side of my screen. So if I put, say, echo login here, because I've got it set here, right? And it came from the post, what is going to happen on this page? Does anybody have a guess? Yeah.
It's just going to show whatever you put in that text box.
Okay, it is not going to show anything. This variable is not set on this page at all, right? It is just the word login. And we can demonstrate that in exactly the same way that if I put, say, a new variable. In the context of this page, there is no PHP that has ever happened before. You know what I mean? There's no session started. There's no session involvement. It is just a brand new page. So if I go to that, so this is saying confirm form resubmission. I'm refreshing the login.php page, so that is going to put the post up there that I just put, which, as we recall, had a good username and a good password. So this is going to run my login.php page again with a good username and good password, which is going to send me to page 1, which is blank. Okay, now what if I change this instead of login to be session username? Raise your hand if you think that's going to show something. Raise your hand if you think that's not going to show something. Okay, the brave ones who answered, not many of you, by the way, you got to get those hands up. You got to be able to predict what's going to happen in these situations, or programming would just be a frustrating, like, try and try again thing. That is not going to show anything because I forgot to set the session, right? I forgot to start the thing. So I'll demonstrate that. You can see I refresh the page, nothing, blank. But if I go over here and I take this session start and I put it in both files, session appears. Okay, so it has maintained my session even though I haven't been restarting the session. It knows I'm still the same person. I just have to like kickstart it for the purpose of that page. And then from there, I can do whatever. I can have my normal everyday thing. But then, let's say we have somebody nefarious coming in, right? I have to make a log out to make that happen. Okay. Well, are there any questions about what I just did? Yes.
So would you have two sessions running then, since you started one in the login.php or no?
No. So, session start is not actually starting a session at all. What it's doing is telling PHP that I want to consider sessions at some point in this page. It's poorly worded. I don't know. It's weird, but just put it at the top of every page with a underscore session thing, and you'll be good to go. Yeah.
If you were to write echo login, would that do anything?
Now, on the left screen,
Yeah.
what do you think it would do?
Well, I'm curious as to how it knows how it carried over the username, but not like the login information.
Okay, so the login information. Okay, can you help me see? And this is how I look through code. So I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just trying to step through it. Okay, so we've got the password here, right? Now both of these are specific to this page, right? The password variable and the post password are both, temporally speaking, only alive for the duration of this page, yes.
And why are they specific to that page? Is it like something in the code, or is it like the type of variable?
It's specifically that they are not members of the session variable.
Because it's post instead,
Right.
right? Okay.
Only session survives more than one page. Partly because there's nothing stopping me from posting from here, right? I could, at the end of this page, call a post and send the user off somewhere else, and then there would just be new post information. But the session doesn't get restarted because it's still the same user doing all of those actions. Does that make sense? Does anybody else have a question about that? Yeah.
Okay, so that made me think. So if you did from the page one PHP, if you did echo $_post login,
Okay.
that
Let's
show the username?
let's do that because that is actually the same thing that he just said,
Okay.
which is fine, totally fine. So let's echo post, and then we're looking for login. Okay, how did this page get this post login?
After the form from the first page posted.
That's right.
So does that take the posted information and then kind of, I guess, use it once and then discards it?
That's right. So this post information survives for the duration of the page that is posted to, and then PHP discards it completely along with all other local variables for the page. So just to go ahead and run the experiment, because there's nothing wrong with push and refresh on a page, you can see we still only get Ron here. And even if we went back out to the beginning and submitted again, we would still only get Ron, because even in that case, even though the user doesn't see the middle page at all, the browser did. So the browser went to that page got executed. Okay, so, and I can demonstrate that actually on this login page by saying sleep, say 15. So that's going to make PHP just wait for 15 seconds. And now if I go back to my login, and I log in again. You see that it's taken a very long time to do that. Okay? Because it's posting to that page. And then once that page gets done being posted to, at the very end of it, it's going to do the thing. A better way to display that, I guess, would have been. No, that's pretty much the only way to do it. Anyway, you get my point. That post is happening even though your browser doesn't see it. It just sort of happens in the background. And the response that it gets tells your browser to go to a new page. And then PHP starts all over again. It would be a different story. It would be a different story. And I think this might be the best way to put a cap on all of this. If instead of doing the header, I did an include. Right? Because this actually runs everything in the same context. So instead of sending it somewhere else, I'm going to bring that code into this page. Well, right? No? Well, hang on. Yeah.
So the session array is more like global, and the post one is per loading of the page.
That is correct. And so we can see here it says ron, right? Because it was included, so it was during the loading of the page that the post was available. Right? Include within the same context. Is that?
Wait, so why does it say it twice now after you put include instead of header? Because header just changes to the page, right?
Because header actually goes to a different page.
Oh, okay.
So it restarts the session context. But include does not go to a different page. It is the same session context.
It just includes that code.
It includes
so
that code.
Did it twice. Well, no, it was the first time and then old left over.
Well,
Again, right?
so it was so the post only exists for the duration of the page, right? But the session exists for globally, just like you said. I can make this code on the left happen within the duration of the page by including it. This is just like I wrote the code right there. This was supposed to make it more clear, but I'm afraid it made it less clear, actually. So I'm confirming my resubmission. The posted login is Ron and the username is Ron. Okay, that's because it's included, and it's all within the same context. If I go back to it not being included, right, like this is right here, and I take it back to the header, which is actually sending it to a new PHP page with a new context. The post is no longer there because it is on a separate page than where it started. Yes?
Kind of. I don't think it's important enough.
That's fine. As long as you are aware enough to go home and try that, then I'm cool with that. It is confusing, it is, but it's an important distinction.
So the post only gets deleted at the end of the login page, so you can use it like 10 times if you wanted to, and it's still fine.
That is correct. It's not like one and done. You got to set this thing and hold on to it. It's you could write it 100 times within the same page. Just once that page is over, so is that information. Cool? Okay, I'm going to stop this recording.